Welcome to the Fortunate Events Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Bennett, and this podcast is all about how education, careers, and life experiences intersect in unexpected ways. Today, I have two incredible leaders from Storybuilt Homes, a company that has truly embraced the power of storytelling in everything they do. Joining me are Rachel Rost, CEO of Storybuilt Homes, and Matthew Reibenstein, Chief Strategy Officer. Rachel and Matthew, thank you so much for being here. Let's start with personal journeys. So Rachel, I'm going to ask you first. You are kind of behind the scenes, but you're definitely leading the charge here. Are you involved with GHBA directly? I know Chastity is, but are you as well?
So I've attended a lot more events and networked a lot more, really met some of the great powerhouses that are in Houston and members of the GHBA. And, you know, at first Chastity is so involved, and I was like, yeah, associations are great. But once I went for myself and really started meeting people and seeing how it worked and how much support there is, I've made more of an effort and am more involved with the leadership and just trying to learn and soak in everything I can. So yes, I am involved, not to the extent that Matthew or Chastity are, but it's a huge advantage for all builders in Houston, and I definitely see that in every interaction that I've been in.
So what drew you to this role here at Storybuilt Homes? Do you want to give us a quick overview of how you got here?
Well, I fell into this role at Storybuilt Homes.
You fell.
I fell in. And it wasn't the original plan.
No.
But like I've found a lot of things in life, my plan on what happens and the ultimate plan and the big guy's plan are two different things, and you just take it as it comes, and that's where we are. And so my original plan, or the original plan, wasn't for me to lead the charge, but I've found myself, and I'm humbled in the role, but appreciative. And it's funny that all of the different roles that I've had leading up to this seem to have been the perfect mix for me to be prepared to be in this role today.
Okay.
And so different things that I've learned along the way, and different jobs and even different industries impact my decision making, how I think through things, and I fell in.
Yeah.
So, but we're here.
Matthew, I'm going to ask you a question next. You're an Aggie, an engineer, an immediate past GHBA president, and someone who built your own company before stepping into this new chapter with Storybuilt Homes. What excites you most about joining the team?
I think the simple answer is the lives we're going to change. That's the biggest reason that I wanted to come on board.
Okay. Well, it's short and sweet.
Yep. I mean, it's when you do this for so long, it's funny. Sometimes it's not about the money. I think a lot of times everybody, we're in business to obviously make money. We got to, pay for our families and the lifestyles that we want. But the reality is, I think when you do what you love, the money follows. And a lot of times I think people lose sight of that when they're in building, especially even custom builders. We get in there. A lot of custom builders I know, they got into the business because they hated something about the production world they were probably in. They think, I'm going to come do something different. And then all of a sudden they get there and it just becomes about the dollar. It becomes about, they forgot about the family that it was involving. I say this all the time. It's always one of those, every time I've ever signed a contract, there's a moment of reflection of, wow, there's a million builders they could have chose, yet they chose us. And I've always said, if I ever lose that, I don't want to do this anymore. There's a moment of being humble enough to say, wow, I mean, that really means a lot to me, that they've entrusted us really with their life savings. I mean, the biggest thing, but more than that, it's where they're going to raise their kids. It's where they're going to have some family events. That's where they're going to do a lot of things. If you're building for older folks, it's where they hang out with their grandkids and their families. And these aren't just, one of my pet peeves has always been with production builders is they call it units. I don't know if you've ever heard that term.
I have many times.
Drives me crazy. It is a home. And I think when you lose sight of that, it's when the world stops spinning the right way. And so what excites me the most about being here is building a brand that we had already created that takes it to another level, that's going to impact so many more people, that will do it on a level that I previously haven't done it on. So I think that's the exciting part. And I think
And like multiple people, somebody.
when we take that away from the home building side of things, it's when it just becomes another building. It's when it's just another unit. And I'll be quick to correct somebody who uses that word. I'm very passionate about it. I've never understood it.
Yes.
I don't know why. I mean, they're both 4-letter words. Why can't you just say home? It's not like you're shortening it at all.
Yes. Well, coming from a previous home builder, they would refer to homes as units. So I think it's kind of standard in the industry.
It is.
And
doesn't have to be though.
Okay. So looking back, what's one fortunate event that shaped your journey, a challenge that turned into a blessing?
You want me to go first on that one?
Yes.
I'm going to start with the easiest way of saying it. I have a buddy that said this to me one time and it stuck. You win or you learn. And I have used that. You're going to get a lot of unfortunate blessings if you want to call them that. I refuse to believe in coincidences. I always say it takes away the glory from God because he has a different plan all the time. And I think half of my life is just trying to figure out what's the difference between his plan and my plan. How fast can we get them on the same page? Because usually they are not on the same page. This is a perfect example. This was not on my radar a year ago. So being here is truly not my plan. It was definitely something he had orchestrated. But you win or you learn and so I'll just in full transparency, I team rope. And this is a guy that I team rope with, and I was so frustrated one time, and that was his comment to me. And I thought,
you win or you learn.
What a good metaphor in life. Because that's so true. You know, what we would call an unfortunate blessing. Maybe I missed a cow, maybe I this or that. You win or you learn. That's all you can do. And that's okay to admit that. There's a lot of times that what we're calling an unfortunate blessing, it's just an opportunity, really. Yeah. That's all it really boils down to is you got to overcome things. Yeah. And that's half the battle is learning how to overcome them and hopefully not repeating the same mistakes. I've lost a house, if it was a sale and we didn't get it, you got two options. You beat yourself up over it and, or do you figure out what you did wrong and try to make it better next time? Not every house, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to admit this, not every house is a 5-star review. Yeah. You get a 4-star review and that's going to eat me up. All you can do at that point is try to learn from those experiences. You can learn and figure out what could I have done differently. And sometimes it's not that you did anything wrong. It's maybe the perception of what you did wasn't a 5-star, it's a 4-star. And that would, that's okay to hear that as hard as it is for a lot of people. I'd rather you be honest with me and tell me maybe you needed more hand-holding, maybe you need this or that. And you learn from those experiences. And I think that's a lot of what we need to do in our industry, unfortunately, to keep up with what's going on. I mean, it changes constantly, right? And so whether it's learning about a plan, there's been times like we just had a red line meeting, you build a plan, you think, I could have done this differently next time. That is across the board, you win or you learn would be what I live by.
Okay, I like it.
Hey, ready or not?
I'm ready. Looking back, what's one fortunate event that shaped your journey, a challenge that turned into a blessing?
This is hard because there's a few. I grew up and had a basketball in my hand, and my destiny was to get an athletic scholarship and play collegiate basketball. And I was fortunate that I was recruited by several colleges in different areas of the country. And for whatever reason, long story short, I wound up at Sam Houston State University. Okay. So I learned after my first year that wasn't the perfect destination for me. Yeah. And never in a million years did I don't think I had even heard of Houston Baptist University. Okay. They've since renamed to Houston Christian University, right?
I heard that.
It's all marketing now. It's Houston Blessed University.
I was like, why? Houston Baptist rolled better.
Yeah. And I wound up there, and it was actually the perfect place because I got a really great education in the smaller campus and there was 3,000 students versus 15 or 18,000. Yeah. And I could still call on the telephone several of my professors. They know exactly who I was, and I could have a conversation with them.
That's today, wonderful.
Which was it was the right environment for me. I did better and thrived in that setting. A business person recently asked me in our community, and he said, "You're a college athlete. I love asking this to college athletes. What was your favorite part of? What did you learn the most? What was your favorite part of being a collegiate athlete? What did you take most from there?" I said, "Well, you can spot immediately in people if they were ever in team sports, on how they work with others.
Okay.
And I look for that in people that I work with. But my answer has since changed.
Oh.
And so starting Story Built Homes, my favorite part of college basketball, my road at HBU led to a year ago when we started this venture at Story Built Homes. And Chastity and I were sitting here and we were going, oh my gosh, we know how important marketing and branding are. Guess what my teammate at HBU is now doing? She just opened up her own marketing firm, and she ran a amazing marketing role and ran a team at a huge nationally recognized home builder.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who
oh my
is
gosh,
that? Who are we talking about?
the only I originally knew her as Carrie Scaff, her maiden name, but Carrie Infante.
Yes, my boss.
your boss. And I called her and I said, I need you. And we hadn't seen each other in several years, but we always knew kind of what each other were doing.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm on it. Let's meet for lunch.
That's wonderful.
And I knew, because when you play college sports with somebody, you see all of the different things about them. So there's something that transcends time when you see someone in the light where they're in their most stressed out moment, in the days that we've seen each other when we're sleep deprived, being screamed at, yelled at, losing a game, winning a game, jumping up and down for joy, all of the things, all of the emotions. You see someone at their best, their worst, and how they are under pressure, right? And I knew she was the kind of person that I wanted to do business with and that I could trust to put such an important thing on with me. I was like, Chas, we're calling Carrie. I'm just telling you. She's like, okay.
And here I come along as a little sidekick.
And we met you, and it just made it that much better. But the amount of people who know what Story Built Homes is, Matthew coming on board and his big belief in so much as the brand that we've been building, and Carrie doesn't get the credit for it. I know Chas and Matthew and I are the face and the ones that oh my gosh, we love your marketing, we love your branding, we love your social media, you guys are everywhere. We're all of a sudden getting all of these accolades and excitement, but so much of that happens to be because I transferred to a college I'd never heard of, and my teammate and my locker mate and the person that I sweated next to for 3 or 4 years, and we knew, what boyfriends were going in and out and who was late for practice and cover me and oh God, how Matt is coached today and all of that thing. But the inner core of a human in those elements, and we never skipped a beat. And she is my favorite part of my college basketball experience. And she walks in the door once a month or once a week or whatever. And I just know that part of what we have is so solid because I know her DNA.
That's beautiful. I really love the way you said that.
I love it. I have a smile every time we talk about marketing and branding because I'm just like, oh, we got it. I know it. We've got it. So.
Carrie's been an absolute treasure, just a beautiful mentor for me. She's the headline sponsor of this podcast, by the way.
Makes perfect sense.
And Story Built Homes is also a segment sponsor. So I think we'll have y'all sponsor this segment. So there's a little surprise coming on the end of the podcast, but we're going to wait until the end for that.
Awesome.
I know. Well, I gave you a little heads up. So, okay, part 2, we're moving on to the Story Built brand and key partnerships. And since you have the microphone, I'll let you keep it, Rachel. Your tagline is every home has a story, and that is so aligned with this podcast, all about the stories that we share. What does that mean to each of you personally, starting with you, Rachel?
Every home has a story. So to go to Matthew's point earlier when he was talking about it's a home, it's not a unit. And
I'm glad you feel that way too.
Oh, that is the foundation of what we've started on. I love that we're all super interested in technology here and doing things more efficiently. Yeah. But not at the expense of losing the emotion and the heart and the humanity. Yeah. Because that's the most important thing. It's where are the birthday parties happening? How are people getting up in the mornings? Where are they having their coffee when they're celebrating or when they're resting? We consider all of that. What is that family's story, and how can we best capture it and make the vision that they have and help capture, because sometimes they don't even know the exact vision. They just know they want it specific to them, right? How can we make that happen? And we care deeply. One of the things that I've really had to learn is like what my leadership style is. And going into that fortunate event, when I was in my mid-20s, I was drawn to take some classes while I was working full-time at Gonzaga. And I haven't finished all the way, but I have a lot of coursework in servant leadership. And
that's nice.
It's a lot of those things I didn't touch for the last few years, and all of a sudden I'm the last 12 months I've been going back to be the best leader. You have to know how to serve others, and a servant's heart makes the best leader. And so taking care of our team members who take care of our customers and building our company and really a solid foundation into making sure that it's human and that it's about home and it's about the emotion and the people that are in it. I've said this a lot in the last few weeks. We're in the people business first, then we build homes.
Yes, I love that.
And the people business starts with our internal team, because that's the people that take care of the customers who we serve. And
Wonderful.
It's my job to take care of our team.
You have mentioned to me, because right now I'm renting, I'm in an apartment, but in a beautiful part of town. I'm very thankful for where I live. I get to sit on the porch and listen to the birds and, the frogs that are making noises all night long. And I'm like, what are they doing? It's a little bit much, but it's fine. I love the place, and it's older, and, it has its challenges. But it's been so nice to have a space where I can, disconnect and then reconnect when I need to, and have friends and family over and all the things. So my mom was here this past weekend.
Oh, fun.
We went to an Astros game, and she stayed the night afterward, and that was really sweet. Like I have an extra bedroom because my son is not staying with me right now, so she was able to sleep in his room, and it was just nice. I worked on a podcast that night, and she was in there sleeping, so it felt good.
Awesome. You have your own space.
I do. I have my own space, but I have learned that I still need people, or still need connection. And even though I really do love solitude, it's doses. Like you have to figure out how, like, balance. You have to figure out balance on. Get your alone time, and then it's back out, back at it, that kind of thing. Another question for you, and then we'll jump over to you. Chapel Bend is a newly developing acreage community in Montgomery. What makes it stand out both in design and in spirit?
The views at Chapel Bend are awesome. So it's just serene. There's between 60 and 70 1 to 2 acre lots in there, and one way in, one way out, and it just feels serene. The best part about it is you feel like you're in this country, peaceful, sit on your back porch or your front porch, watch the sunset or the sunrise feeling, but you're 10 minutes away from all of the, good stuff with the grocery stores and the shopping and the eating, but you feel like it's miles and miles and miles away, and it's not. It's still convenient, and you have no idea the feeling and the vibe of the area. So it's just, nice and peaceful, which is and just the right size for it too. So you feel like you have neighbors. You don't feel like you're out in the middle of total nowhere.
I do like that it has larger lots.
But it's just gently rolling, and it just feels homey. It does.
Love it. Let's talk about Chapel Bend. What do you love most about Chapel Bend?
Location's everything in real estate, and I don't know how you beat that location. I mean, you're just right on the outskirts of Montgomery to a point, but I mean, you're minutes away from grocery stores, shopping, restaurants. So you've got to Rachel's point, you got this nice serene place of solitude. You go listen to your frogs, and you can listen to your birds in your backyard.
You hear them there too?
It's
like,
but when you want that,
it's so obnoxious. I'm sorry. It's so obnoxious.
But when you want to go get that
sound
to eat, I mean, when you get tired of the then I guess you go into town 2 minutes down the road. I mean,
I like the sound of that.
Montgomery ISD.
2 minutes is not bad at all.
It's not. I mean, it's such a great thing, and I think a lot of people that's the lure of Montgomery for the longest time has always been that this is where you can afford to get a 1 to 2 acre lot out here. You can raise your family and not be 5 foot away from your neighbor's house. And I think that is a big pull for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of our people come from Houston, and they're so used to being able to look at their neighbor, and I mean, my gosh, they get ready together in the morning. It's funny, and you come here and all of a sudden you can find yourself on the back porch actually breathing in fresh air. And that's what I love about Chapel Bend out there. And it's a great location. It's got the right product that people want.
That's a great recap of it. One more thing before we go to the next part. Partnerships are clearly a part of the story. To Anderson Windows, to the lighting that y'all use, to Fairway Mortgage. How do those collaborations help you bring Storybuilt's vision to life?
You got to have people who also believe in your product in order for it to work. It can't just be our belief. The home building industry, of course, it's just like a lot of them, but it's complicated. It's not like I go manufacture the windows and I go pick out all the fabrics and I go do all the. There's no way I can. There's no way any of us can. And so what we do is rely on these partnerships, but they have to also understand the vision for Storybuilt Homes. They have to understand what we're trying to do. This is not just another house. This is not a unit. And I think when they start feeling that same way, that's when we make the changes in the world. That's when people recognize it. So, I was fortunate enough you alluded to earlier, as president of the GHBA, I was actually president of Northern County Builders and Developers during COVID. And part of that role is I write in Houston Builder Magazine every month, which is the hardest thing for me to actually, if somebody said, what's the hardest part about being president of anything? There it is right there. A, remembering to get your article in. And B, what kind of topics you can only talk about stuff for so long before it gets boring. But interestingly enough, during COVID, or just right after or in the mix of all this stuff, I wrote an article that talked about partnerships. And it was funny because I said, if you didn't think partnerships mattered, you do now. During COVID, we couldn't get things. I mean, people forget. This was just I was just thinking the other day, it popped up on Facebook. It was 5 years ago, right? And we were in the middle of this junk 5 years ago, and man, how fast our memories go, because people seem to forget that part of life. But like, we were trying to figure out, we ordered that such and such, but we have no idea where it's at. It's on a boat somewhere in the ocean. They can't offload the boat because they're afraid of something. If y'all remember, there was boats sitting out in the harbor for like weeks and
I
weeks
actually
on
do
end.
now that you said
Crazy.
that.
Like half those boats had our linings and appliances and other things on it.
And they're just holding them hostage.
Yeah, and we have no idea when we're going to get those in, and we have no idea what this is going to happen. And prices were going through the roof. I mean, put in perspective, I built my personal house in 2019. I paid $7.80 a sheet for OSB. So I'm going to put that out there.
That sounds very low.
We're down to $12. We're back to 12-ish, I think, right now, plus or minus. But this is no lie. You fast forward to 2021, I was then paying $48 for the same sheet of OSB. So from $7.80 to $48. People forgot how stressful that is for a builder. Yeah. And so, and they think, and this is the theory that I'd always want to try to cut straight through. Builders weren't making more money off this stuff. In fact, we were losing our tails on so many things. And while the world was going gangbusters and everybody's buying cars because it was 0% financing, and then houses were 2.9% financing on a 30-year mortgage, and everything sounded great on the outside, the reality is, as a builder, we were struggling. We were trying to keep our heads above water. We didn't know when appliances would come in. At one point, some of our appliances were 12 months out. So we were literally ordering appliances before we started the house when we were doing dirt work, and you just hope that you're going to need them and hope they don't come in too early, because then we can't store them anywhere.
Yeah.
We had a lot of issues during that time frame, and I got to tell you, partners were the only reason that we made it out alive. But truly, my article was very heartfelt in that sense. I have some of the greatest, for 15 years running a business, it was incredible, the partnerships that you gain out of this. And if you're the guy that's not, I am big on loyalty. I want you to be loyal to me, and I'll be loyal to you back. And I say I'm loyal to a fault. There's no doubt about that. there's been times I should have canned a certain person here or there, but instead, hey, let's work on it. Let's sit down. Let's talk about what maybe I'm not good for you. Like, what can I do differently to help you in your job? And let me tell you some things I need differently from you, and let's see if we can work this thing out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, case in point, my electrician at the time, which has been my electrician since, get this, my very first home that I personally built was the same electrician we've used through the day. And interestingly enough, he called me, came to my office one day, and I knew, well, his first thing was, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, which home?
That make you feel a little bit.
Well, I said, which home and which project manager? Because I'm feeling there was going to be some negative to this somewhere.
No.
He said, no, it's you. I've got to talk to you. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Oh no.
So he said, I'll meet you at your office. And I was like, all right, thinking about, the million things it could have been, right? Is he retiring? Is he quitting? Is he this? Is he that? Did we, then the next thought as a business owner, right? Did we pay him? What are we talking about today? And we sit down and he walks in my door, and you got to know this guy to know how good of a human being he is. But at that point, been 11 years together, and he sat down and he handed me a sheet of paper, and it was the cost of copper. And then it had tripled in 2021. Overnight, it tripled. And he said, Matt, the same Romex that I'm selling or that I bid this houses, it's at this price. My Romex has doubled in price because copper has tripled. And he said, everything I bid for your, the last 2 months, I'm gonna lose my shirt on. I said, what do you want me to do about it? He said, well, that's why I'm coming to you. He said, I've never in all these years ever changed a bid.
Aww.
And I'm okay if you tell me we can't, then we can't. And I said, John, look, I want you to stay in business. I gotta stay in business. Let me look at the contract. Let me look at what I can do. Let me talk to the homeowner. Let's just all work together. And we'll find a way to make it work. He said, I don't even need to make money on you. I just don't want to lose money doing this job. So if I could break even, I'd be okay. And I'm thinking, that's a terrible way. We're all looking at it. At that in 2021, that's, I think, a lot of us were looking at it.
Aww.
Was it's depending on if you were on a fixed price contract. If you signed that thing in end of 2020 or mid 2020, you were screwed. Unless you had some massive clause in there. But then how are you going to go to your homeowner and say, oh, by the way, prices have gone up 40%. I need your money. Good luck to you. So
yeah.
You were trying your best to stay in business. We were all doing that. That partnership, though, is what allowed us to keep moving forward. We worked it out, no problem. It was just one of those.
Blessing.
It's what we do. And if you're in this industry, like I said, I'm loyal to a fault, but partnerships absolutely matter the most. I'd say first and foremost is taking care of your homeowners. Right behind it, right behind it, is taking care of your partnerships with the people around you, because they're your best attributes.
Because it's really hard to do it on your own. I've learned that. As a leader, what do you see for the next chapter of Story Built Homes? Where do you see the company heading in the next 5 years, maybe even 10?
Bigger and better. That's the kind of the name of the game. One of the questions you asked a minute ago was about something about the reason that we're doing this or whatever. And I was thinking, well, I'm going to go back and read it because actually it was really interesting to me. But you said, what does this mean to you personally? Saying every home has a story, and all about the stories we share. What does this mean to you personally? For me, a lot of that ties into the question you just asked about the future. This isn't my plan, and that's what's funny. For those that don't know me, for 15 years I built custom homes in this area. I know it, I love it, I enjoy it. But this is truly a stepping stone in my mind. What I saw with Rachel and Chastity. It's almost hard to explain to somebody who doesn't have the next hour of their life to give this podcast. But what I saw was two people who aligned so well with what I've always done, what I like to do, and what I want to continue to do. There's just not two other people. When I went home and told my wife, just a thought that came in my head, like, hey, we're 4 miles apart. Let's combine these things. Let's do this. She said, those are the only two people I think you actually could pull this off with. She said, if it was another guy, you'd kill him, or they'd kill you, whoever got to who first. And I had her support from the very moment it came out of my mouth. And what she saw in this was this passion that I've always had was just growing. So when I'm going to relate that to the question you just asked, what do you see about the future? It's just that. The passion just continues to grow. The excitement grows because we're not just building units and homes and this and that. Right, but we are doing what we love to do, number one. But every home does have a story, and I like to know those stories. That's why I'm a custom builder. If I just wanted to build 300 units a year, then I'd go do that, but I'd be bored out of my mind.
Units?
That's what I'm saying. If I wanted to do 300 units a year, I'd be bored out of my mind. Instead, I'm building, homes every year, and what that means is they come with a story. I get to know the homeowner. Half the time, I probably know their pets before that's all said and done. I know about their kids. I know about their grandkids. I know about their uncle. I've got a homeowner right now. He's got an Uncle David. And so it's funny because I sit there and
I remember you telling me about him the other day.
I laugh because, I mean, everybody has a story. I drive by houses sometimes on the weekends and I tell my kids, I'm like, oh, I built that house. And, when we're driving by and it's, yeah, I remember that. Do you know why the house is turned that way? They did not like the neighbor's house to the left. And I know the story, and that's the funny thing. Like, I know the story. Mm-hmm. I know about the tree that used to be there. Hey, there used to be a big oak tree, and this truly happened. The homeowner had it taken down. He's big into woodworking. We had it sent. I mean, he brought the trailer. We took down the bottom 8 feet, and he sent it off to a kiln, had it fire dried, and then he built the mantle that went in his house. And the table that's in his dining room table was hand built by him with the tree that was on his lot that we had to take down. And I love that everything has a story to me. I mean, I can tell you for 15 years, it's crazy how you can remember homeowners' names, right? We don't even remember their address, remember their names. And to me, that's what I want to see grow. I look forward most to seeing is now, instead of doing 10 or 12 homes a year, we're going to get to 20, 30, 40, 50 homes a year, but the stories stay the same. Every home will have that story, and we'll get to know them because of the way that Rachel and Chastity have already started this. We're able to take that on and not lose the personal side. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be key to the success here is really keeping it about the homeowner and not making it just the unit.
I love that. Matthew, from a strategy perspective, what are the biggest opportunities for growth that you're most excited about? Did you just hit on this?
Biggest strategy from a strategy perspective. Gosh, when interest rates drop, everybody needs to be ready.
Yeah.
That's number one. Strategy is, I think the key is this. It's not what will make Storybuilt different than every other builder in my mind, is that while money is always going to be money, and we're always going to have to be thinking budget, and we'll always have to be thinking that end buyer, there are a group of people that truly respect a well-built home. They truly respect a builder that does the right thing and doesn't cut the corners. And so from a strategy perspective, how we carry this growth is just that. As more and more people get to know Storybuilt Homes as the builder that's doing it the right way, I think that will be the strategy moving forward. I mean, there's going to be plenty of houses to build. Whether you're $250,000 buyer or $2.5 million buyer, there's a house for you. There's one to build. I think remodeling is going to be big. And remodeling is, I think everybody's tired of hearing me say this, but when 70% of the country is sitting on 3% mortgage or less, remodeling is a big deal. Mm-hmm. The question is hiring the right remodeler, right? And there's professional companies, and then there's chuck and trucks. Mm-hmm. And I think oftentimes, no, you're not going to get the chuck and truck price when you go with Storybuilt Homes. We're not going to do that to you. But what you do get is a team of people that come in with industry partners like Coden House. We're going to bring them into every remodel, and that's going to be part of the deal. We're going to walk the house. We're going to make sure you're getting what you want. Will it be the absolute cheapest thing in the world? No, but you keep your 3% mortgage. But yeah, there's a huge opportunity for growing in that way. And I love the idea of it. I mean, you're still helping that family out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these are, maybe they're buying it and they just need to refresh it. And some of these they've been in their house for 30 years. They need something different. It's just as fun, honestly. It's the story is what makes it fun. Mm-hmm. If you took all that out of it, it would just be construction.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you see the company heading in the next 5 to 10 years? I guess, are you pretty aligned with Matthew?
Yes, we're absolutely aligned. It's growth, right? What exactly that growth is part of that is TBD, right? Because the minute you start planning, somebody else has other plans for you. I've learned. So we're going to shape the growth a little bit and as best we can, of course. Our first goal is to be the go-to name in Montgomery County. We've got to get that right in our backyard right here first before we go expand bigger and beyond that. So, and we've got some work to do to get there, but we're laying the foundation for that now. Matthew joining the team just makes that learning curve go a lot faster. His knowledge, his expertise, all of the homes and the families and the network that he has here is going to be such an instrumental part of that growth. And it just pours gasoline on it, really. So Chastity and I had big dreams and big visions already, and him joining and in on that just makes it that much more. And so it's exciting. We have a lot of we don't know exactly what it looks like yet, but we know that there's big things ahead.
Lululemon custom built.
There you go.
Thank you to Storybuilt Homes for being a sponsor. Thank you for inspiring the segment surprise for this Fortunate Events podcast. So this is a new portion that we're implementing on the podcast, again, inspired by Storybuilt Homes and your belief that every home has a story. We're adding this as a recurring segment to all future episodes.
Nice.
So in my notes, I said I didn't want to spoil the surprise for the topic, but I talked to Chastity about writing a book for y'all. Just, maybe a book for every homeowner, or maybe a book for every floor plan, or maybe no books if you don't like them. But I did, with the help of ChatGPT, put a book together that I thought was pretty fun. The topic of the book is Chapel Bend and the Collins home that y'all have developed, and that it's your first signature showcase home. Mm-hmm. So ChatGPT and we came up with a little story for y'all. In Montgomery, Texas, where the wildflowers grow and acres of prairie and soft breezes flow, Chapel Bend rises, a vision made clear, a place where new stories are waiting each year. The Collins stands proud as the very first home, a showcase of beauty where families can roam. Porches and spaces, both open and wide, a floor plan of comfort with heart inside. And Chastity's voice brings a light to us all. Through Chat with Chastity, she answers the call. If these walls could talk, they'd echo her care of laughter and love, built to last everywhere. Rachel, the leader, with wisdom to guide, her analytical strength always by our side. Then Matthew stepped in with strategies in hand, joining through merger to strengthen the brand. Together they've woven a story to send, and many new chapters begin in Chapel Bend.
None of the three of us intended or knew that he was going to join forces with us, right? And it was a big decision, a huge decision for him. He's had a company for 15 years that he's done well, and he's run, and he's the guy, and that's a huge risk to join forces with an unproven couple of ladies that are crazy and all over the place.
Crazy in the best way.
Crazy in the best way, hopefully. But all over the place. But I feel like what made it easy for all three of us to say, oh my gosh, this just fits, is that our spiritual foundation we knew was the same, and our belief system is so aligned, and how we treat other people, and our morals, ethics, values, how we love is all like almost mirrored. And that's why I feel like all three of us could just, and we all have this special bond that's kind of unexplainable, and Katie's in it too. She really is. She's not in the day-to-day, but she's like the number one cheerleader and team mom, and she's a partner in this too, because she's the other half that makes Matthew full.
That's beautiful.
She's amazing. You'll love
Wonderful.
her.
I can't wait to hear her sing.
You can't not love her. She's amazing. But that was why it was so easy for this to fall in, is because we knew it was like family and heart and all of those things. And we also know, because we're human and we're all imperfect, that there's going to be, and we're all stubborn, is that there's going to be challenges, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to have bad days, and we're going to, throw some stuff against the wall that doesn't stick. But I know that at the end of the day, he's just the kind of guy, just like Chastity is the kind of person that we want to do the hard things with, and that we want to go through the battles together, and that with us and our group, we can make something really special happen.
As Rachel said, I've been my own builder for 15 years. I feel like, done everything we can do in most ways. Everything from custom build of the year to Star Awards to, I don't know, whatever else is on that shelf over there. And I say we a lot. There's no I in this thing. This is a team. I've actually paid money to have a trophy change that had my name on it, to put my company name on it.
No way.
Yeah, I had them change it because it bothered me that it had my name on it. So I don't win anything. We win everything. So that is a philosophy that will always carry with me. And Rachel's right. My wife's involved in this, whether she worked with us or not. It wasn't She's my sounding board when I go home. She's the one that keeps me sane. She's occasionally the one that makes me go do things that I don't really want to do because I know she knows it's the right thing to do, and she's the one that can talk sense into me. Everybody's got to have that backbone, and I have that with her. But interestingly enough, the why, I get a lot, and I think this is a great opportunity to share this since Rachel kind of alluded to it already. So interestingly enough, I actually will say there were just moments of uncertainty probably where I'm going, oh my gosh, like, I love what they've got going on. I see what they've got going on. I catch their vision, and I'm like, that's exactly what I would want to do, and I'd love to do it with them. That'd be great. But you can imagine, I mean, for 15 years, there was a couple of times where I'm like, wait, what am I doing again? I mean, I've run my own office. I've had employees. I've been through, I've had my, I'm at that point now too where, yeah, my first 5 years were expensive lessons in life. And I'm at a point now where, we're finally smoothing out. I have literally told everybody running a business is like having a baby. The first 5 years, it needs you day in, day out, changing diapers, feeding it. It can't go to the pantry yet. So you're it. I mean, you're there a lot of times. It's a 24-hour day job. Customer service, you're it. Warranty, you're it. Building house, you're it. You name it, you're it. And so, and some of this you're kind of learning, unless you just happen to have a business background. Heck, I don't know that I really knew what a balance and P&L was when I first started. I knew the terminology. I'd say it to look cool, but what does that actually mean, and how does that affect me? Those are all questions that, Business 101 didn't teach me because I'm a civil engineer. So all that to be said, there were moments of uncertainties where I thought, this is really crazy in its own weird way, but yet God just kept opening the doors here for me to join this team and be a big part of the success or some part of the success that I just couldn't deny. I mean, it truly was it. And then I felt like I was having other doors slam shut on me that otherwise wouldn't have felt that way. And, you can't deny that. And I kept saying that to my wife. I'm like, I just don't understand. And if I'm being totally transparent, I don't want to say this was part of my plan because I think that'd be lying to somebody. A year ago, as I jokingly say, this was not on my bingo cards. Like, this was not part of the deal. We were signing contracts again. We got through the crazy year, and then this just kind of popped up out of nowhere as an opportunity. And when Chastity came to me and said one of her first things was, "Who would you have to bring?" And I thought,
I remember her saying that.
That was a big deal to me because those that know me know Sherry and Lauren. There's no doubt, and they're here. But the big thing was, I prayed about a lot of this, and it sounds so cliche, so I'm saying it on a podcast, but to the person that's listening at this point, my answer is going to be to pray about it and just got to let your path go, because that's what I had to kind of do. I had to let mine go, and I will, without Rachel sitting here, so no, listen to me, Rachel. Yeah, this was not originally part of the plan. Nowhere in this long term of running a business did I say, at year 15, after I've won Custom Build of the Year and done all the right stuff, and I've treated people well, I'm going to go join forces with another company and help build their company. That wasn't part of the plan. So just so we're clear. But I did have a day, and I don't challenge God often, and I'm not very good at listening. I'll admit that. I'm pretty hard-headed. The cliche thing is, go pray about it. That's what everybody's going to tell you. And I got it. I pray every day. But I also read my Bible in the mornings, and funny enough, I had gotten frustrated one day, and I knew I needed to make a decision, mostly from a standpoint of what was fair to Chastity and Rachel, what was fair to me and my team and my family. At some point, you got to make a decision. Overanalyzation equals paralyzation, and I was getting to that paralyzation point where, am I just going to just keep spinning the circles and hope for the best, or are we really going to do something about this? So I went on a drive, and anybody who knows me, if I go to the barn or on a drive by myself, get nervous. So there's a reason I'm doing those by myself. And I went on a drive, and I truly can say I challenged God. I told him that I need something from you. I need to hear it. I need to know it, one way or the other. I don't care. And if it's your plan for me to go story built, then I'm all in. If it's not your plan, then I'm all in. I just need to know which direction you expect me to go. And if I kind of baited the question in a way to almost like the answer should really be not to go to story built, and I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. And I almost kind of, my heart felt that way, that God was pushing me in that direction, but I didn't quite want to go that direction. So fast forward 5 days from that moment where I went on a drive and had a long talk with God. And it was the day that I also met Chris, my other partner.
Chris
Rasmussen.
Oh, I don't know if I've met him yet.
So Chris, in my mind, was a figment of everybody's imagination. Because see, just like you've never met him. Oh my God, I did not pay for you to say that, by the way, but thanks for saying that. You couldn't have been more perfect on cue with that one. The man that nobody's met.
Oh my gosh.
So I finally said, hey guys, look, if we need to talk numbers, we need to talk a lot of things, but we're going to meet Chris. And I'm like, great. I mean, my very first comment when he walked in the door was, you're a real person. That's good. I mean, I didn't know who I was going to meet that day. But that morning I had gotten up and I read a men's study Bible. And at the end of this thing, it always gives us kind of a reflection for the day. And that's where this came from. And so interestingly enough, I'm going to read this little passage to you because this is why I'm here today. It says, often the harvest Jesus has for you isn't where you least expected it and in whom you least expected it. Let's stop there first because it says in whom, and I've now come on board with two women in construction, and Rachel said this earlier, who don't quite know everything about construction. That's okay; they know how to love people. But if you would have told me at any point in the 42 years of my life that this is where I'd be, then I would have laughed at you then too. But often the harvest Jesus has for you is where you least expect it and in whom you least expect it. You find yourself in a place that you assume you're just passing through, perhaps a place where you don't really want to be. But lift up your eyes. You may be in a field where God has been sowing gospel seeds unseen by you, and he's inviting you to reap what you did not sow in a field where you never thought you would find a harvest. And I get chilled every single time I read it. It's like never ending. I read it and I read it and I read it. The third time is when I was like, oh my gosh, I think I know that's God. And I got goosebumps reading it. And I always been told, like, when you start getting the goosebumps, you know that's him. I couldn't, and it's at the end, you can see it's at the end of the passage. Like, it's literally what you end on. And so I sat there and I thought to myself, that is crazy. That God, I know that's you, and I get it. So I walked over to my wife. She was on the bed still, and I laid the Bible on the bed, and I said, I want you to read this. And she looks up. She has a tear in her eye. And she's like, I just don't know how you don't listen to that. And I'm like, so pretty much at that point in my mind, I knew then that this is the direction I was going, which happened to be the same day that I met with Chris. The figment of everybody's imagination. But I know that sounds so cliche to say, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean on your understanding. I mean, that is the best and worst Bible verse on planet Earth. Because I've had to live by that my whole life. I don't understand why God does the things he does, and that's what makes life fun. Because if we understood it and it was just all easy and it was written down on a script for us, then it'd be pretty dang boring.
Yeah.
And I think I've always said God has a sense of humor. Oh, he's real funny.
I was like, so we're like that way.
He's giggling at this whole thing right now because you got Rachel on her first podcast.
I said, I'm not doing that. He goes, yeah, you are.
Yeah. Well,
so that's why I'm here.
I'm so grateful that y'all are here.
It's interesting because it's funny because I love the plan, even though I don't understand the plan some days. And every day is a new day. It's exciting. Everybody here has a huge heart. The core of my team got to come with me, which was a big deal. And that's what made us so special. And I know that all of us combined will be making Story Built. That's what's going to make us so special.
Thanks so much, everyone, for listening today. And thank you, Matthew and Rachel, for joining us. I do think that the listeners will, enjoy what they've heard, and that this episode will just be another one that really reaches who it needs to reach, and that, people will take something away from this conversation. For anyone who wants to connect with Matthew, Chastity, Rachel, or the Story Built Homes team, I encourage you to follow them on social media at Story Built Home. I believe most of their social pages don't have an S on the end, but if you type in Story Built Homes, you'll see their marketing everywhere, their social media. They have a great presence online, and their website is storybuilthomes.com. So if you'd like to connect with them, please follow along online and on their website. And if you're looking for a new home in the Montgomery County area, they are the builder to go to. Until next time, thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.